Gentlemen, welcome back to the Tiege Hanley Starting a Business, Building a Brand vlog. This one, big number 313. So, do I got a good one for you because you had a lot of good ones for me. What am I talking about? I'm talking about your amazing business questions. We'll talk about the Alpha M supplement line. If it's, do you really think come on. Really? Anyway, it's pertaining to one of the questions that was asked. Real quick, give you a little Alpha M life update. Two things kind of suck. Well, no, one thing sucked, one thing's cool. So the woman that would cut my hair at the salon just found out that she is leaving. She got a full book of business and was like, I'm out of here, deuces. I'm going to go open up a small little room in a salon suites and do everybody's hair there. And this was a bummer, right? Because this is one of the things that, you know, you worry about, but you can't like overly worry about it. And the thing that really kind of sucks is like, you know, I think people a lot of times, especially in like the hair industry or personal training industry, they think the grass is greener and they think, hey, if I'm making this here, but I'm having to give the salon this percentage, if I do it myself, then I'm going to make all the money. Well, that sounds great and everything on paper, but once you start to actually peel back the onion, there's a lot that goes into it, right? Now, all of a sudden, you've got to pay for all of your product. You've got to pay for an assistant if you want. You've got to pay for, you know, the rent, the overhead, not to mention any marketing. Like, how are you getting clients? If you're just like renting a room, you know, and you're not getting like walk by traffic or you're not advertising, how do you get clients? I'm not saying stylists aren't like amazing at marketing, but they're not amazing at marketing. You know, they're great at hair and they're creative, and creative people are really good at being creative. But in terms of going out and drumming up new business, I don't know. You know, entrepreneurship and working for yourself is not, you know, it's not for everybody. But I wish her the best. I think she is an absolute sweetheart and we love her, and we were honestly shocked. We thought she was like super happy, and I think she was happy. I just think that she saw that she thinks that she can make more money, but she also has to pay taxes now and, you know, like all sorts of, like, she's got to take care of a lot of expenses that she wasn't having to, you know, at the salon. But once again, people think, oh, I could make all this money and be all mine. And yeah, good luck with that because it's not as simple as it seems. And then you combine that with one of her best friends who also worked there. We found out that she also was leaving. And Laura actually told on her. The woman that was the other one that left, like, didn't actually say anything, but when she was talking to Courtney, she's like, hey, I'm opening a salon suites. Can I have a list of all my clients? We're like, no, you know, and she probably has all of them and she's going to do whatever damage she's going to do. But she was like, hey, I'm going to give you 2 weeks notice. You know, and this is one of the things that you're going to have to decide for yourself. If you have a business and somebody is leaving your business and they tell you, hey, here's my 2 week notice, what are you going to do? You're going to let them hang out for 2 weeks and like take potentially like more client information, or tell everybody and talk about how they weren't happy or whatever, or how much they're going to, like, are you going to let them do that? Or are you going to be like, thanks, it was fun, got to go. And that's what we did. You know, Tony and I were like, no. You don't get 2 weeks. You don't get 2 days. You're out. Like, that's unfortunate. We love you. We think you're great, but you got to go. And we also fired her, or let the other woman go as well, because it's like, look, we know you're leaving. Let's just cut ties now. And so they were pissed, but come on, like, honestly, I feel it's part of the process. It's part of the business. You know, the thing that really sucks about it is they had a full book of business, and that's the reason why they're like, ooh, new business or my own business, and that's great and all. But the reason they had all these clients is because we're the hot thing in town and everybody's calling and we're marketing and we're getting a lot of new customers in the door. Which brings us to another downside to this, is that we are at max capacity with the people, the current staff that we have. We have way more business than we can handle, which sucks. It really sucks, honestly, because, you know, you want to get everybody in, you want to take their money, you want to, you know, generate as much revenue as possible, but we just don't have enough stylists to handle all of the demand. You know, good problem to have? Maybe. I'm of the mindset of it's a bad problem because maybe I'm greedy, or I feel like if we can't get them in, they're going to go somewhere else and we're going to lose them. And so we're working through some of the situations. The first thing we did once we basically fired or let Laura and this other woman go is call their clients. Hey, this person isn't with us anymore. Would you like to schedule, and try and fit in their clients to other people? And so whatever, I wish her the best. I think she's an amazingly awesome person. It just sucks. It sucks having to lose people, especially when the people are really good and level-headed and talented. But some people are going to leave you, and having a non-compete only is going to go so far, but you just need to protect yourself. And one of the things that we did, knowing that, okay, well, this is a potential risk, is that we have limited people's access to client information, and we did this a long time ago. So I'm sure that they have as much information as they need, and then they've got social media. So I actually saw today, she's like, hey, great news, I'm opening up my own place, hit me up. And it's like, awesome, good for you, good luck. Whatever, I wish her the best, but it sucks. That being said, we would rehire both of them. We would welcome them back. If they get out on their own and they're like, this isn't for me, we would bring them back. You know why? Because they're gonna be the best employees then. Because they already did that, got the t-shirt, they didn't steal from us. Technically, I guess technically they kinda are, but you know what I'm saying, right? And so when they leave and come back, they know that the grass isn't greener, and so they're like, yeah, I'll do whatever, I'll work super hard, and they'll be, more sold on the concept and the business. And so if they leave, they try it, they realize, you know what, I kind of don't want to worry about this other stuff that I'm going to have to worry about that I didn't think I was going to have to worry about, or it's more work than I thought it was going to be. I just want to work for somebody else. Come on back, because we're hiring. We'll take you. Anyway, something else that's awesome is we had a meeting last Friday, my wife and I, with our house team, right? So in attendance, we had Charlie, who was the landscape architect, Michael, who's the builder. Oh, I also need to tell you, I finally manned up and called my other builder and told him that I wasn't going to use him. It was such a horrible guy. It was so hard to actually do that, but I was putting it off because anyway, I need to probably, why don't I do a house update next week? Because there are a lot of business questions, and I don't want to monopolize this with alpha talk about stuff like that. If you want a full house update thing next week, why don't you drop this video one of these, or in the comments said, yo, give us a house update, because we got I got some renderings of the house. It's amazing what you can do, and it is so amazing, and it's really exciting. It's also kind of nerve-wracking because with these meetings, I'm just sitting there and Tracy will be like, ooh, that's awesome. And I'm like, every time Tracy gets excited or gets like, ooh, that's awesome, it gets more expensive. And so she's having a good time with it, really excited to get started. We're going to be breaking ground hopefully in January, so super soon. But if you want next week me to tell you and give you a little bit of an update, show you the plans, show you some renderings, and tell you about the story, the breakup, or I should say hey, it's not you, it's me, phone call I had with my other builder, why don't in the comments say, yo, house update alpha, that would be sweet. Speaking of sweet, let's talk about your amazing business questions. So the first business question is actually a YouTube sponsorship promotional question from our friend Abfir Lifestyle. Anyway, sorry for butchering that, brother. Here's the deal. He says, something I wanted to ask for a long time. I noticed that YouTubers, basically everyone who makes content, sometimes talks about some type of product, but when they go to show it on camera, they hide or blur the name of the brand unless it's sponsoring the creator. The question is, if I like a product, let's say it's Tiege, can I show this product in my videos for examples and talk about it without consent from the owner? Do creators need consent or sponsoring from a company to talk about their products? If not, why do they blur the names of the brand? Okay, so no, you don't need to blur the name of any brand. It's totally fine. Now, I think the reason why a lot of creators don't show is because they don't want to give free press or promotion to that product. That would be my only guess. I don't know. I don't see a lot of what you're talking about. I also don't consume a ton of YouTube content. For me, I've never blurred a thing unless, I guess, maybe they're talking, if they're talking bad about it, they may not want to basically put themselves in any potential risk, but it doesn't sound like that's what you're talking about. But you have absolute the ability to talk about or show whatever product you want. Now, what you can't do is say I paid you to actually talk about Alpha M subs, right? And I sent these to you and you're like, yo, Alpha M subs, these are awesome. And you don't actually disclose that it's a promotion and that I paid you or I gave them to you for free, because that's the other thing. When you get a product for free, if you're talking about it and you're giving it a favorable review, you are technically supposed to disclose the fact that it was given to you for free. Now, if you go out and buy whatever product you want and talk about it, it's totally up to you. So for me, there was a company that makes tools to groom yourself that I tried. I bought myself. It was never sent to me for free. And I was like, I'm gonna review this and do an unbiased review. And the fact is, I bought the product, and so I'm legally allowed to do that. I can say whatever I want. But then I started thinking, I'm like, yeah, but if I really say something negative, and they're a big company, and I'm a big YouTube channel, and if they want to sue me, they can sue me. Not that they'd win, but I just didn't want to get into that battle for like nothing. And so I ended up not doing it. But for you, if you want to talk about a product, gentlemen, go out and talk about a product. It doesn't matter. If you want to give them free press, you want to talk about Tiege, we would love it. Fashion question. Where did I get that badass denim jacket from the last vlog? H&M. I bought a bunch of denim jackets. That H&M jacket was like 30 bucks. It's got some stretch in it, and it is amazing. I got it a few years ago, but I think they still have them. So anyway, it was H&M. The next business question, let's see, where are we? There he is. All right, comes from Surf Seeker. My girlfriend is a super intelligent academic, a health and fitness expert, and a wellness coach, and could be huge on social media, but she's very nervous about appearing on YouTube. Any advice on how to convince her to start on YouTube? So this is a great question, and it sounds like she would be amazing. The difficult thing for people a lot of times to get over is that they're scared, right? They're scared, A, of the unknown. They're scared that people won't like them. They're scared of putting themselves out there and getting criticized, because criticism is never fun. Whether or not it's constructive or destructive, it sucks. And as I've said before, you could literally be teaching blind kittens to read and somebody would have something negative to say about you. I have insecurities now that I didn't have before I started posting videos, right? And then all of a sudden I started posting videos and people were like, oh, this and that. And I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that I should be insecure about this. And so anyway, you can also show her other creators that are similar to her. I don't know. I mean, you know, some people are just not interested in being in front of a camera. I don't understand that because people often say that the most dangerous place in a room is between me and a camera. But, you know, some people are just not built for it, not cut out for it, and that's totally fine. What I might recommend is, hey, start on some type of, you know, like easier platform, lower barrier to entry. Maybe start a Instagram or a TikTok or something where the feedback you don't necessarily have to see right there, but it's also, you know, more real time, quicker. You don't need to set up like lights or cameras or anything like that. It's pretty much using your phone, and see how she feels, see what type of feedback. But I will tell you this, if she tries it and then starts to get positive affirmation and reassurance, she's gonna be hooked. That's what happened to me. I did my first video, I'm like, let me see about this, and somebody's like, this is awesome, thanks, and then asked me a question. That was it, game over, done. You win. The next business question I love from Gary Hernandez, self-defense and urban survival. What's up, Gary? He says, business question. Hello, Aaron. My question is, when you're bringing in a new business partner, do you feel it's harder as a male bringing in and working with a female business partner over having and working with another male business partner? Thanks, Gary. Woo. This is a good one, right? This is a good question. I have experience with both business partners. I had a business partner, Linda. That was my first business. Actually, John was kind of my first one, and Linda was better because John was kind of abusive and I didn't stand up for myself. And then Linda was super supportive and nurturing and an older woman, and not like anything like physical or anything like that, but she was an older woman, and it was a healthier relationship. I enjoyed that partnership better than the other guy. But then she got crazy, and not saying that women are crazy, but she went off the deep end. And now I've got business partners, all of my business partners are men, right? I've got Terry from Menfluential Media, Antonio Centeno, Kelly, who is a dude, Rob, a dude, the chemist, a dude, me, What other business do I have? Oh, the salon. Steven, dude. Tony Talercio, dude. His wife, Courtney, a woman. I think it really boils down to the person. I don't think it's necessarily the sex of the individual that's going to dictate whether or not they're going to be a better business partner or not. But the one thing that is nice, having somebody of the opposite sex is that it does bring a different perspective to the table. Men, oftentimes will look at things very, very similarly. Now, the one thing that you just like, and I'm not trying to be like sexist or anything like that. Like, don't cancel me. Trust, if I haven't gotten canceled over some of my YouTube videos, this comment isn't going to cancel me. And that is, sometimes women think about things and are a little bit more emotional about certain things as opposed to dudes. A lot of times are more matter of fact and can look through a situation or analyze something a little bit more methodical and systematic. Not saying that women don't have that ability, but there's a difference. But I've also known a ton of dudes that are like super emotional, right? Steven, for instance, the stylist, is an emotional dude. Tony, very level-headed, very methodical. And so it unfortunately there isn't like a this is better, this is better. I think if you are married, you need to make sure that you are, or your significant other is okay with you being in business with another female or woman, because you are going to spend a tremendous amount of time with that individual. You also, if she's attractive, like there are things that you're going to possibly have to deal with that having business partners that are men you're not going to have to deal with. Now, if you're gay, that obviously is the reverse. And so there is no right or wrong. I think there are pros and cons to both, but you just need to find somebody that aligns with your direction and your goals and bring something to the table other than, in terms of a skill set, other than what you actually bring to the table. So you need somebody that's going to complement you as opposed to being very, very, very similar to you, if that makes sense. But great question. The next business question comes from our actual friend, Christopher Van Dusen. Chris, I know you from the Men Influential Conference. We have actually met, and you have an incredible YouTube channel. The question is, I have a YouTube channel called The Well-Rounded Dude, and I was wondering, how would I go about joining an advertising agency such as Men Influential Media? What are the steps? I've had good luck with affiliate programs. So I went and checked out your channel again. And you're putting out a lot of content, which is amazing. The content is great. You just need to keep, putting it out there and growing the views, honestly. Because, when it comes to getting advertising, you do need to have a certain level of views. Right now, you mentioned that you do have good luck with affiliate programs because, that's the way for you right now to monetize. You may want to play around with shorts. YouTube is really investing heavily and really going down the rabbit hole of short videos. And I've seen some newer, smaller channels really blow up through that. Now, is it as beneficial for a more established channel to start uploading a bunch of shorts? That's a much longer conversation. So for you right now, what I would focus on is just getting your views up. The more views you get on your video, the more attractive you're going to be to advertisers. In terms of an agency like Men Influential, once your views start to get up there a little bit, what I'd recommend is just reach out to us and be like, hey, I'm interested. Once you start to actually get views, people will reach out to you, brands will reach out to you, agencies will reach out to you. But right now, it's about figuring out content that's going to basically get more views, because if you're getting 100 views or 200 views, even if you convert really, really well, it's still not a ton of conversions. And so for me, what I'd recommend is just start, keep at it, possibly try or experiment with shorts, possibly look at other popular YouTube channels that are in your space and do videos that are similar to their more popular videos, just because that people are obviously searching for it, and YouTube does a good job uplifting and basically facilitating smaller creators' growth. And so you're amazing, you're a rock star, your content is incredible, but just keep working on developing the views. But great question. The next business question comes from our friend Beach Life. He says, how important are copywriters to your business? So Tiege Hanley, we have a copywriter, John, who is incredibly important. He and his job is really, crafting the narrative or the messaging for the content that we actually put out. Just winging it, that'll only get you so far. But copywriting plays into, there's so many aspects of marketing that copywriting does play a factor in. Email marketing, copywriting, posting on social media, even like your tags, or not your tags, but your descriptions on an Instagram post, or a Facebook post, or whatever. Like, copywriting is important. And having somebody that understands sort of sales and the sales mechanism, and that's a good sales copywriter is super valuable to have. And it's not easy to find, though. But yes, copywriting, what you say, is incredibly important in your business. Now, when you're first starting out, most people don't have the ability or the pockets deep enough to hire somebody exclusively for copywriting, but you make do and you try. You see what works, you see what doesn't, and if that's something that's a weakness for you, maybe that is something that you really early on try to focus on. Because once again, marketing is the biggest thing that's going to separate winners from losers. If you figure out the marketing equation, congratulations. If you don't, I'm sorry. And the last business question is from our friend Berkram Kamarui. Sorry for butchering that, brother, but you have two amazing questions that I just wanted to dive into. He says, hey Aaron, I've been watching your videos since 2015. Thank you so much. And he says, firstly, I want to just let you know that your videos are awesome. Man, thanks, brother. I appreciate that. He says, anyway, coming to my business question. First question, why did you start a separate company for Stubble Buddy when you already had Pete and Pedro? Excuse me. Don't you think if you just had added it as a product under Pete and Pedro, your job to market it and increase sales would have been easier? The answer is yes. And the other answer is I didn't set up a separate company. I basically, with Shopify, you can have different basically storefronts under one account. And so I didn't incorporate the Stubble Buddy as a new entity or a new business. It is under the Pete and Pedro brand. But when I started the Stubble Buddy, I thought, okay, I want to see if I can create a product and a brand that basically can stand on its own, kind of like the Squatty Potty. And so I have its own website. I've got its own like website. I've got, everything looks like it is the Stubble Buddy, right? The Stubble Buddy Instagram, the Stubble Buddy this, the Stubble Buddy that. But I also was selling it on the Pete and Pedro website. Now, when I first started the Stubble Buddy, the idea was I was going to try and create, some ads and some marketing material that was going to be great and that people were going to get, and it was going to just, take off and all that. I came to realize that the Stubble Buddy was a harder sell in terms of the CPA game, trying to figure out what that cold conversion mechanism or message was. The other thing that I learned with the Stubble Buddy early on is that a customer is more valuable at Pete and Pedro than it is at the Stubble Buddy. If I just send them to the Stubble Buddy to buy a Stubble Buddy, they're buying a Stubble Buddy. They might buy two, some people buy three, whatever. The problem is that we don't really have other products to upsell them. Pete and Pedro, they come into the ecosystem. If I advertise the Stubble Buddy, now all of a sudden they're getting email blasts, they're getting upsold, they're seeing all these other things. They buy the Stubble Buddy, they love it, then they're buying a nose hair grooming tool. And so a customer that buys from Pete and Pedro is much more valuable than a company that buys at the Stubble Buddy. But I still, when I was starting it, thought that the Stubble Buddy was a great name. I thought that it could be fun. I thought that it solves a problem. And so I thought, let's see if I actually create a standalone, looking like a standalone business or brand. Stubble Buddy's doing well. It does really well on Pete and Pedro. I have not promoted it as hard on StubbleBuddy.com, but it moves a lot of units on Amazon, and I think I'm actually going to, make it maybe kind of like an Amazon focused product where I get it into the Prime sort of ecosystem, and then all I do is target ads to things like the Beard Bib and other products that are similar. But great question. Let's now talk about the second question that's also amazing. You've always talked on how you're passionate about fitness. So I was just wondering why you haven't started a business related to that. Perhaps like your own nutritional supplement brand or something. So I, as you guys all know, my number one passion growing up was fitness, right? It's the only thing I wanted to do with the rest of my life. And fitness is still, to this day, one of my biggest priorities. Every single day I'm exercising. Most days I'm exercising 2 days. I eat right, I take supplements, I love it, right? Had the nutrition business with that guy, John, I love it. But then when that went out of business back in 2006, we shut down the fitness centers. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do next. I thought that I was going to do something in the fitness industry, whether or not it was personal training or whether or not it was whatever. And, if I'm being honest, there was like just a sadness about it. And a lot of my steam and my energy kind of left the room. And even though I'm passionate about it and I love it, it's not a business that I'm interested in pursuing. Combine that with things change, right? When I did my nutrition store, when I did my, my personal training in my studio and Move It, the group fitness facility, it was a different time. It was back, early 2000s. Now, the amount of people that are online talking about fitness is crazy. The amount of information that's come out, the amount of studies, a lot of the information that I knew as like, this is fact, isn't necessarily true anymore. And so for me to get back into that world, and the reason why I don't talk a lot about I don't do a lot of fitness videos anymore either, because I've realized that I'm not up to date. I'm not educated to the point that I need to be in order to be talking about this stuff the way that, the YouTube platform allows you to talk about it. And there are much more qualified people out there nowadays than I am. But the good news for me is that, when I look at a lot of these fitness people that are making careers in the fitness industry, fitness YouTubers, I always think to myself, man, having your body be the product is tough, right? It's challenging. Whether or not you're a model, whether or not you're, a personal trainer or a YouTuber, it's tough. Because at some point you're going to age, and as you age, things change, and maybe someday you can't eat the way that you are, maybe someday you can't exercise the way that you were, maybe you're not going to look the way that you did. And have you built up enough credibility in order to still sell your products and training and all that? Possibly, hopefully so. The other thing that I look at when I see a lot of these YouTubers that are into fitness is you better figure out an auxiliary way to make money off of the platform that is not YouTube, because it is, once again, you're in a big area, or you're in an arena where there are tons of dudes, and they're always new, better looking, better body, more educated people coming up. There are a few people on the platform that have sort of set themselves up as the expert, the de facto expert in certain areas. Jeff Cavalier, one of those people. There are a lot of other people though, like Jeff Nippert, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right, who's kind of, coming up and more of that, educational sort of vein. And then you've got other people like Then X that does a lot of the calisthenics. I mean, there are so many amazing, YouTube fitness personalities. And, I don't know. I look at them, I watch their content, I enjoy it, but I am not passionate about fitness in terms of a business like I used to be. And so it's just not something that I'm interested in pursuing. I'm much more interested in these days in grooming and accessories and real estate and things of that nature. It's kind of like a been there, got the t-shirt, and the t-shirt says bankrupt, and it was the lowest point in your life, and you got to figure out a different way. And so for that, I don't regret not doing it. I look at a lot of these personal training studios, these little gyms, and I think to myself, my God, that is a hard way to make a buck. And then I look at, Tiege, Hanley, Pete and Pedro, Enemy, and I see what's possible in terms of online retail sales, and the idea of getting into that business, from a brick and mortar perspective is like zero interest to me. And supplements also. I love supplements, but I'm not interested in coming out with a line. I'd rather buy people that have already made amazing supplements that I love. And so it's a great question though, and something that once in a while I think about, but I'm really fortunate and happy that my career and my life took a different direction. Because I think about that. I'm like, man, I look at my body now. I thought I would always need to be 6% body fat and look like this and competing in bodybuilding. But the novelty wore off. I still want to have a great body. I still exercise. I still like having a good physique. But if it was my business, if it was my job, that would be tough. I want to go out and have pizza. I want to have a few glasses of wine. That's what I enjoy doing. And so great question. Thank you for making me think, and thank you for making me go down memory lane. It was fun for a second. But now back to business. Gentlemen, that's where I'm going to wrap things up. If you have a business question, down below, start it with business question and ask your question. Next week, we'll get to more of yours. And hold on, I think. Hello? Hello, come on in. You want to be on a video? No? All right, let's see this bad boy. Let's see it. Done and done.
Okay, so just so you're aware, the only difference is going to be your holes.
Let me see. Pours a lot more out.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. I mean, that's
It's what we got to work with while we're on back order.
okay.
So we're still ordering, gonna continue with the other order.
Okay. All right, real quick before I go, just give you an update, another business lesson. Powder, right? Pete and Pedro, we ran out of powder. We sold out. It was a huge success. And we said, great, make more. And we said this like a few weeks ago. And they're like, okay. And then all of a sudden, like, oh, well, everybody's out of the bottles. Sorry. We're like, what? And so the problem has been like, it's all of this like supply chain, right? You like packaging. I can't get like a plain white bottle with like a sifter top. And so, you know, we're looking everywhere just because, you know, with the holiday season coming up and everything. And so literally instead of the lab that we use to actually make it is kind of close to here. And so it's the lab that Tiege Hanley actually used when we started Tiege Hanley. And so she was like, hey, I got the sample bottle. I'll ship it to you. I said, nah, drive it up. And so I just got it. And it's not ideal. The holes are a little bit bigger. So a little bit more is going to come out. So the first time you use it, you'll get it. But anyway, I'm like, whatever, I can get it, good, let's do it. Anyway, gentlemen, that's where I'm going to wrap things up. If you have a business question down below, start with business question, ask your question. Next week, more of your business questions. But if you want the Alpha M Cribs update, why don't you down below say, yo, Alpha, let me see, and let's talk about the house. Gentlemen, you rock. Thanks for everything. And as always, we love you more than our double monk strap shoes. See you next week.